Hey everybody, Garrett Burrow here with Annuity Producers. Whether you're new to the business or you're a seasoned agent, today we want to go over the three main types of fixed annuities that we found can service all of our clients' needs. Because remember, as an annuity producer, it's part of your job to do a pre-suitability analysis and a best interest analysis for the client to make sure that what you're recommending is indeed in the best interest of the client. So the three main types that we're going to cover today are MYGAs, fixed indexed annuities with a growth focus, and fixed indexed annuities with an income rider or income focus. Each of them have their own place, and each of them fits and integrates within a client's overall portfolio in different ways. And some are certainly more suitable recommendations depending on what the needs of the client are. To kick us off, the first thing that we're going to take a look at today are MYGAs. And we've done other videos in this series, but for a short recap, a MYGA is a multi-year guaranteed annuity. It has a fixed rate of return over a particular period of time. Call it 6% over 3 years, for example. Typically, they compound, and we can liken them to bank CDs. Clients understand bank CDs and they're familiar with them, so we can say they're similar, but be careful because they are insurance products and not bank products. So we want to be very, very careful about how we word what we say. Some of the advantages of a MYGA as opposed to a bank CD include things like higher rates, the ability to have a death benefit associated with it as an insurance product, some access, a level of access to the funds. Sometimes you can access your interest or a portion of the account's overall value with no penalty. Longer terms, so you can lock in these high rates for longer periods of time. And of course, the tax deferral, right? So with a bank CD, your client's going to get a 1099 every single year for the interest, whether they touch it or not. But with an annuity, you're going to get that tax deferral. So that's an attractive feature for some of the clients. So now we ask the question, what type of client is this best suited for? Well, it's certainly easy to understand. And so for clients who already have money in CDs, in particular with CDs that have recently matured, this is kind of a shoo-in because it gives them the opportunity to earn more than what they could in the current CDs using a vehicle with which they're already familiar, but with some nuances and some slight differences as an insurance product. So it's very easy to start the conversation. And oftentimes what we find is that when you do approach the client with a MYGA and they do end up liking that, they're a lot more receptive to the rest of what you have to say. And so if you're offering other lines of coverage or other types of annuities that can also augment and complement the portfolio. See, none of these exist in a vacuum and none of these are mutually exclusive. We can always kind of mix and match, provided that we're taking into account things like overall liquidity, and again, in the client's best interest. Switching gears from the MYGA, we're going to take a look at our second option, which is a fixed index annuity with a growth focus. So remember, of the three options that we're going to be talking about today, two of them are more growth focused. And the third option and the final one that we will speak about is income focused. And there's a big distinction there because we really have to take into account what the client actually needs, right? So in the event where your client has $30,000 a year coming in more than what's going out the door, maybe they're not so concerned about income. Maybe they just want a safe place to park their funds where it's not subject to market risk and they don't have to pay any fees in a lot of instances, in almost all instances, unless they elect to do so. And they can still earn interest on their money. So that's where the fixed index annuity with the growth focus comes into play. The way I like to describe it to my clients is this. What if I told you that if you flip a coin and I said, heads, you win, and tails, you don't lose? Would that have some value to you? And people kind of scratch their heads and go, what do you mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. You have your 0% floor. So the worst that can happen on any given year is that you stay the same, AKA you don't lose, right? But in the best environment, then you're making interest. So typically what we find in terms of suitability and integration into a client's portfolio, this type of option typically works best for folks who are a little bit younger, who are still subject to the 59.5 rule where they can't take any withdrawals. So, age 48, 49, a 10-year strategy with safe and protected growth for a conservative person is a great way to position this sale because they're not going to be touching it anyway. So we're not worried about any of the liquidity features that's needed, but it also is a safe environment to be able to grow the funds. Another client for whom this might be suitable is somebody who doesn't have an income need, but is getting ready to retire and does have a safety need. So in other words, maybe they have a 401k or maybe they have a brokerage account or brokerage IRA where their funds are subject to market risk. So they want to keep them in a safe environment where they can still grow and go to work for them without having to worry and be looking over their shoulder and constantly be looking at what the stock market is doing, right? It's a good tool to have peace of mind in retirement. So this provides us a golden opportunity to come in with an option that creates no management fees and safety from market risk, with the ability to earn interest all the while. And the best part is most fixed index annuities of this type do have some level of access. So for somebody who doesn't need access to all the funds, but still wants to have the ability to make sure that they can touch some of them, a lot of these have 5 or even 10% penalty-free withdrawals on an annual basis. So you can tell your clients, look, you put in your 100,000 here now, and you can take out 10,000 after a year. Now that we've covered the two strategies that focus on growth, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about a strategy that focuses on income. So of course, we're talking about a fixed index annuity with an income rider on it. So the way that we like to position these sales to our clients and the way that we like to explain them is sort of think about creating your own pension. So using your assets to create an income stream that you cannot outlive. For folks that are having some difficulty kind of understanding how the mechanism of this works, we just ask them, are you familiar with Social Security? Of course, they say yes. Okay, so with Social Security, right, you pay into it for a particular period of time. And then when you go to flip on that income, the longer you wait to turn on the income, the more money they're going to pay you. And when you flip on that income, they pay you for the rest of your life. Clients go, yeah, okay, I can understand that. Great. Well, that's exactly what this is going to do. It's structured the exact same way, except instead of being run by the federal government, it's a contract that you have with the insurance company. You reposition a portion of your existing assets and you create yourself an income stream that you can never outlive. So for a lot of seniors, this is extremely attractive because in retirement, it's great to have assets. But the reason why we have assets is to be able to generate an income. Income is the name of the game in retirement because it allows you the lifestyle that you want. It allows you to do all the things that you want because, quite frankly, where a lot of folks are taught about wealth accumulation, but very few folks are taught about wealth preservation. And that's where we come in because it's all well and good to grow these funds, but why are we growing them? What's the purpose of it? Typically, you're going to get two answers, either to use the funds and to have a lifestyle that you want in retirement or for legacy purposes. And those are not mutually exclusive either. I want to leave something behind for my heirs, for my kids, for my grandkids. I want to leave a legacy, right? Well, this strategy can accomplish both of those goals because the income stream that it creates allows you to have the lifestyle. We can write these such that they cover the client's fixed costs, or even you reposition a portion of the portfolio where we can cover their fund costs, right? This could be their travel fund, the income that they're receiving, right? So a lot of different functions, a lot of different uses of this, but the legacy portion comes in, and this is something that we explain to folks as well. The longer you live, there's not going to be a death benefit because, to really cut to the chase on this, the insurance company is going to pay you back your own money first, plus any interest that you earn along the way. And when that's completely depleted, they're going to keep paying you. So in terms of legacy, what's a better legacy than never having to come with your handout? Never having to ask your kids if they can help you buy groceries that month because you've outlived your assets. So this type of plan is a hedge against longevity. So if you pass away early, then any remaining assets that still remain will go to the named beneficiary on the account. Whatever the account value is, goes to the named beneficiary. So it's not like the insurance company is just going to keep all the money. But the real utility in this type of plan and this type of contract is in living a very long life. The longer you live, the more this makes sense to have. For example, I have a friend of mine who's 96 years old, and he bought an annuity 30 years ago. I was 9 at the time. I didn't sell it to him. But every time we get on the subject, we talk about it, he looks at me and says, Garrett, they never thought I was going to live this long, and they just keep paying me. And he just laughs. It's the best thing he's ever done, right? 96 years old. He's been getting payments for 30 years. So he's probably, over tripled what he originally put into it. One of the other features of this type of annuity is the ability to add different riders onto it. So there's sometimes nursing home and confinement waivers. There's terminal illness waivers where there's no surrender charge for the event where you go into a skilled nursing facility or diagnosed with a terminal illness. But even more to the point, sometimes there are enhanced payouts and enhanced benefits. So if you can't perform, for example, 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, you might get a doubler or 1.5 times in the event of a joint lifetime income to help cover the cost of care. And while this doesn't maintain a true 7702B IRS tax code in most cases, thus making it not true long-term care, it certainly does help to have that enhancement. And quite frankly, I mean, yes, they're paying you back your own money first, but they're also coming out of their own pocket first. One of the big objections that we get on this type of annuity is the fact that there does come associated with a cost. There is a fee for the writer. Usually this ranges from between about 0.9% all the way up to 1.3% and up. But what we tell folks is this is actually a good thing because, number one, it doesn't affect your income benefit in most cases, unless it's performance-based, but it doesn't affect your income payment, and it ensures that the insurance company is going to be able to make good on their promise to pay you for the rest of your life. So you can tell your clients, look, that the charge that is incurred doesn't go to me. The insurance company goes out and purchases reinsurance so that if you live a very, very long time and they have to come out of their pocket, that they have somebody else to help shoulder that burden. They have another insurance company that's helping them shoulder that burden, thereby making sure that they can always continue to pay you for the rest of your life. So these plans are extremely useful for clients who have a lot of assets, but not a lot of income coming in. Maybe all they have is Social Security coming in, and this is an opportunity for you to help augment some of that income and offset some of their expenses. It's a way to mitigate the risk of living too long such that you outlive the assets that you have within your portfolio. And for some, most importantly, it's the peace of mind that it brings. Knowing that you have a guaranteed paycheck that you can never outlive, that all of your expenses are covered and you never have to worry about it. You don't have to look at the stock market and what it's doing. You can just live your life unencumbered and free. For some people, that in and of itself is worth the price of admission, just that right there. We'll be doing more videos in this series that will take each of these three options and break them down into their component parts with a little bit more detail. But this today is just kind of a high-level overview so we can take a look at the top three fixed annuities that we find can suit all of our clients' needs the best. In fact, a vast majority of our clients' needs can be taken care of by utilizing one or more of these three different strategies: the MYGA, the fixed index annuity with a growth focus, and the fixed index annuity with an income rider or income focus. All three options provide some level of safety and peace of mind for the clients, and they can be an invaluable part of the client's overall retirement portfolio. Thanks so much for watching. Garrett Burrow here, annuityproducers.com. Y'all take care.